Welcome to another episode of your favorite libertarian. In today's episode, we're going to be going over my 11.5 inch BCM-Aero pistol. This is something that was requested by a few of my viewers, so I figured I would show you guys what this all is. It's been featured in a lot of videos, and yeah, we're going to show you the upper, the lower, all the different accessories and parts that I have in this, and I'll try to give you an idea of price. This is not going to be in the same budget realm as my Aero Precision 10.5 inch Aero pistol series that I've done and continue to do. As it is a series, there will be more iterations, so stay tuned for those. This is going to be a little bit pricier. You can make your own choice as far as if that's worth it for you at the end. I'm just going to give you the information, and hopefully you'll be able to not only take my information with a grain of salt, of course, because I'm just some guy on the internet, but also do further research, and maybe I can help inform you in a good purchasing decision with your hard-earned dollars. With no further ado, let's get into this BCM build. First, we'll start with the upper. This is an 11.5 inch MK2 BCM upper. That is a complete upper. Everything except for the charging handle is included with this. Accessories obviously not included. Standard A2 flash hider, government profile BFH barrel, which stands for their cold hammer forged barrel. And then a couple things that are unique about this particular upper is that you have a forward assist, but it is much further in, so it's a lot easier for you to reach your charging handle. And you also have this bump out here. This is supposed to be a reinforcement, so it's supposed to be more durable, be able to stand a lot more pressure than a standard upper receiver, so that's kind of fancy, I guess. You also have the MCMR 10, which is a 10-inch rail, and this is all M-LOK. All the different positions are M-LOK, so you can put M-LOK accessories anywhere, provided that the angle makes sense and the gas block isn't in the way. All right, you guys are never gonna guess what kind of bolt carrier group I have in here. Surprise, it's a BCM phosphate bolt carrier group. This has got to be my favorite lower ever. It's fantastic. This is the Aero Precision M4E1, and I'm a huge fan of it. I ordered this lower completed, so buffer tube assembly, lower parts kit. There was an A2 grip that I immediately removed and replaced, but it came just like that, which was cool because all I had to do is buy this upper, buy this lower, and put them together. Pretty straightforward installation. Nothing crazy special about what's in this. I don't have any super high speed Geisley triggers or anything. This is a mil-spec trigger, mil-spec parts kit, you know, the magazine release, the safety, bolt catch, it's all mil-spec, so nothing crazy there. It does have a flared magwell, which is pretty cool, an integrated trigger guard that has some lightning cuts here and here, and it's nice and smooth, really nice finish. It mates up with this grip really well. Two more things that are really cool about this lower. You have threading in this hole here, which is usually where you'd have to tap in a roll pin. The other thing that's really cool is that there is a tension screw, and if you remove your pistol grip, you are able to tighten or loosen that. That's going to adjust the amount of play between the upper and the lower. For this upper and this lower combination, there was a little bit of play, so I was able to remove that and have it to where I can push this out with a pen or a Sharpie or a loose round. But if I have it back together, it's not wobbling at all, so that's really nice. Accessories. The first accessory, pretty obvious with an AR pistol, you need some type of brace. This is the SB Tactical SBA3 brace in OD green. You can order it specifically in this color. Also, I've added the Lunar Concepts Split Fix in black. This replaces your regular strap that goes on the pistol, and if you look, you can see that there's a little section right here that covers this split and makes it so it doesn't move around too much on you. It makes it a lot more stable for stabilization, of course. So that's pretty rad, and I like the black and OD green aesthetic there also. I've already touched on it a little bit, but I just want to really drive home the point that this grip is awesome. The K2 Plus grip by Magpul, fantastic. Love the coloration, OD green. It's a good match with the brace. Also has the black accent down here, has the door that you can take out for storage, and I do use the storage on this. Typically I'll have a battery for my optic that I'm running. I'll have battery or batteries for the light that I'm running, and then I'll also have any type of Allen keys or things like that that I need to make sure that I've tightened down whatever is attached to the particular weapons platform that I'm running. Just so if I'm doing I&I and I notice that a witness mark is not where it's supposed to be, I can quickly rectify that on the range. I don't have to go home or bring a bag of tools with me. Moving on down the line, we have the Radian Raptor SD-SL charging handle. The SD is what they signify to be best used with anything that's suppressed or anything that's super overgassed, like, I don't know, BCM upper. You knew that was coming eventually. The SL is for shorter length of these little tabs here, or handles, if you will, for the charging handle. These are nice because for me, when I'm not wearing a plate carrier, or even in some cases if I'm wearing a chest rig, depending on how low or high I have it sitting, this left side, if it's longer, will dig into my sternum. It's not the case with the shorter one. There are pros and cons to having this shorter. The con is that if you need to mortar this, it's not going to be as easy to do, but the likelihood of you having to mortar is relatively low unless you're running a drill like Dark Box of Chocolates. MDFI alumni, if you know, you know. This is also very matchy-matchy with the OD Green furniture. This is a little bit lighter than the rest of the OD Green furniture, however, but it's still close enough to make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And I mean, this kind of goes without saying because it's a Radian, but it is also ambidextrous. All right, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room, and that is this super budget optic and mount on this kind of spare no expense build. This is a Bushnell TR25 on a UTG mount. I know, in my defense, it works. The mount doesn't lose zero, it stays in place. I've witness marked it, so I know it's not moving. It's just a co-witness riser, Picatinny riser, and then the Bushnell TR25 also does not move, does not lose zero. It works. I have had this combination for, I think at this point, 15 or 16 years. At the time, I think I got this whole thing for like $60 maybe total. You're probably wondering where I found a OD Green BCM gunfighter grip. Unfortunately, I had to have this custom made because for some reason BCM does not offer this in OD Green, which is it's a travesty, but here we are. I took this to Odin's workshop in Keego Harbor. They did a fantastic job. They do fantastic work in general. Their sister company, JM Custom Grips, did the stippling for my Glock 19. So I took it there for the Cerakote and turned out great. Matches the SBA3 brace perfectly, and I'm definitely going to be taking more furniture to them. I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to take the furniture for the 10.5 inch Aero build that you've seen in that series to them, to have those also be turned OD Green. But I am for sure going to be taking the Triarch Systems stock and a couple other things to get OD greened out, or maybe Ranger Green, we'll see. If you want to know more information about them, I'll link that in the description below. One thing that's missing in this video is the sling that attaches to this attachment, and that is on purpose because I want you to actually be able to see the gun that I'm showing you. What is normally here is my Haley Strategic D3 SLK sling. I've modified it so that it actually tightens and loosens in the opposite direction. I might do a video on how I did that, but I don't know. We'll see how many people actually care about that. For my light setup, I am running the Mod Light OKW head, the Mod Light Scout Light style body, and the Mod Light E-Series clicky tail cap. This is the perfect combination for me. The only thing I wish that they had that Surefire does have is that swivel body integrated mount. that would be ideal because then I could get these even closer in, but it works very well and I have no complaints otherwise. The candela is insane. Runtime's great. The batteries are great. Rechargeable as well. The 18650 body, so it's an 18650 battery. I really like the clickiness of this tail cap. Let's put it that way. No regrets in moving from Surefire dual fuel to this. I had a bunch of issues with my dual fuel. I have videos on the issues I had with that. I have a full dedicated video on my mod lights and why I switched from Surefire to mod light, and no regrets. The mount that I have here is the Arasaka 45-degree angle offset mount. This works really well, and I really like this particular mount. I think it just looks really good together aesthetically. It's really nice. And yeah, it's perfectly placed for this gunfighter grip, and having my thumb here, it's fantastic. But how does it shoot? Well, I'll roll in a picture of me at MDFI's low light long gun class. Full review on that class where we talk about the adverse shooting conditions and just conditions in general that I ran this through. So check that out if you haven't already. It did really well there. No complaints, no issues there. I will say though that this particular barrel, or combination of parts including the barrel, is not as accurate as my Aero Precision 10.5 inch. Now this is an extra inch and it's cold hammer forged, all that stuff, but the Ballistic Advantage barrel is just a fantastic barrel. I will caveat that with, it's a fantastic barrel compared to this with the specific loads that I tested it with. So 55 grain Wolf Gold and 62 grain Winchester green tip ran phenomenal through my Ballistic Advantage barrel on my Aero Precision 10.5 inch build, which costs way less than this. And the same exact loads through this didn't do as well. I would say like 1.5 MOA was the best I was getting out of this, as opposed to 1 MOA and less than 1 MOA at 200 and 100 yards respectively with those two ammunitions. So this one didn't perform as well, but there's a couple factors that could play into that. One, it could be that I just didn't find the right ammunition to shoot really well through this gun, and if I do more testing with different loads, I can find one that is perfect for this. But I was surprised that 62 grain green tip was not just amazing through this, because I would assume BCM would be testing their stuff with 62 grain green tip. Just a guess. Let's also talk about the overgassing that BCM does with their uppers. They're still doing it. They haven't reduced it. This exact setup, I'm getting ejection patterns that are almost going further than the rounds that I'm shooting. That's how overgassed this is. There's no way to make it less overgassed. It just is going to stay that way. The argument is, I guess the pros and cons to it being overgassed are that being overgassed, it's going to be more reliable, and regardless of how much you shoot this without cleaning it, how gunked up that gas port gets, it is still going to function, it's still going to work. The downside is you have more wear and tear on all your parts, and you have a harder impulse as far as recoil goes, and your ejection pattern, if you really care about ejection pattern, it's going to be going way forward. At least for me it is. Now there's a couple things that you can do to reduce that. You can get a different buffer weight, and that'll help slow the bolt carrier down to the point where you can fix the ejection pattern and it's not as bad of a recoil impulse. But it is something to note. If you are going to get a BCM, it is most likely going to be overgassed. They won't tell you what the gas port size is for them for whatever reason. A bunch of people have tried to talk to customer service about it. They just are saying it's proprietary information they won't say. Which is just, that's weird to me. Like anyone else wants their rifle or air pistol overgassed, and they're like trying to steal that secret. Final thoughts. I obviously like this. I wouldn't have this as my home defense setup if I didn't like it. There are some things that have got me questioning BCM. I'll talk a little bit about that, but first let me talk about the things I really like about this. I really like the look. I really like the look of this upper, the MK2 stuff, MCMR, gunfighter grip, the coloration, all that looks super cool, and this Aero lower is I really like the different accessories that I've chosen. Again, stay tuned for a different optic on this, but I really like this whole setup. The things that I'm not crazy about, overgassing, we talked about that at length, maybe ad nauseum, and the price. Those are really the only two things, overgassing and the price. Or the price of this upper with the bolt carrier group in it, I could probably buy 2 Aero Precision uppers with better accuracy out of the barrels, and that to me, it's hard not to want to do that. I'm kind of ADD when it comes to gear. I'll get some stuff, or even guns, I'll get some stuff, try it out. If I don't like it, I'll sell it, buy something else, try that out. If I don't like it, I'll sell it. So there's very few things that I've kept out of the things that I've purchased with my own money, by the way. My plate carrier, still the same plate carrier, love that thing. One of my chest rigs I still have, but my ready rig, I'm not sure. That might be leaving soon for something else. We'll see. Stay tuned for that. And this upper, I'm kind of on the fence. One of the reasons I'm kind of on the fence, one, the price, but two, I've heard some reports of issues with some newer BCM uppers, and this one's a little bit older. Not super old because it's the MK2. I've heard some reports, and I haven't experienced any of these personally. This is run 100%. I've had no issues. But I have heard some reports that some people with some newer BCM uppers have had issues with throat erosion, cracking, all sorts of crazy stuff, which you wouldn't think would be coming from BCM. That part was surprising to me, but the other thing that was surprising to me is the customer service that they received when they sent in their barrels. There's one particular reviewer that sent them in and documented the whole thing. If you just look up BCM issues, you'll probably find him on YouTube. And he talks about like even taking it to, because he was running it suppressed, took it to Surefire, took it to Federal, like spent his own money sending it to these other places for independent information. And they said, oh, there's no way you should shoot this. This isn't centric. There's all sorts of issues. Took it to BCM. They said it was fine. He had to argue with them. They tried to tell him that it was his fault. It's a whole thing. So that was one experience. There's other experiences that I found online. And again, these are all just people on the internet, just like me. So take it all with a grain of salt. But that's one of the other reasons why I'm saying, well, I haven't had any issues. So like, this could be one of the last good ones. I don't know. But I probably wouldn't recommend buying a brand new BCM upper. I would look for a used one. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to turn this into an Aero Precision 300 Blackout and 11.5 Aero Precision or Ballistic Advantage, because Ballistic Advantage does their own stuff too, the sister company. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I know this was kind of a ramble on final thoughts, but well, that's going to do it for me and my BCM-Aero build. Long awaited. I hope I didn't disappoint anyone. I don't know why you're still watching this with all that rambling at the end, but if you did, you're one of the special ones, and the secret code that you can comment in the next video will be cacaw. So if you do that, I'll know that you watched the previous video all the way through, and it'll be kind of like our secret thing that only we know about. So yeah. If you have any questions that I didn't already answer, feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to get to those. And if you have any suggestions on what I should do, guide me in my life path. Let me know what I should do. Should I keep this? Should I trade in for something else? I don't know. Just help me. Also, if you like this video, I really appreciate the like. That helps a lot. It makes me feel good. If you're already subscribed or you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because YouTube just likes to unsubscribe people and unclick the notification bell. So just double check while you're here that all that's good. And if you haven't done any of those things, now is a great time to do it. There's no better time than now. If you'd like to support my channel monetarily,
it's like a drawbridge, like a bridge. So you get the sidewalls burning and the top burning, and there's a hole through the middle of it. It's like super cool. They did it on purpose.
Also burn.
Planned it that way.
But then you're stuck inside, and then you burn to pieces.